Welcome to another episode of The Art of Volunteering. Welcome back. Today I'm interviewing a friend of mine, Lauren Zenreich. Her and I had the opportunity to work together for a little over a year. And I love what she does and how she volunteers. She shows up in a different way. She works with sets for plays, and we're going to hear about this. Lauren, can you introduce yourself and tell a little bit about your background and maybe bring it into how you got involved in this type of volunteering?
Hi. Okay. I'm Lauren Zenreich. I am married to Alan and I have two boys, men now. Um, and my oldest son is an actor. He's an actor playwright. And he started out being very young and being an actor in school. And the bug just hit. And so one day, he was in a play, he was in Damn Yankees for this little tiny Annunciation Players production. And one of the people from our local theater called the Bergen County Players came by and said, "You have to audition. They're doing Oliver." And so he went to audition, and his little brother, who was 11 at the time, tagged along. And they went to the audition, and my son Scott, the older one, wound up being, he was 15 at the time, and he was too old for the Fagin boys and too young for the adult things. So they made him a newspaper boy. And my youngest got cast as the lead. And who knew? We had no idea he could sing or act or any of that stuff. And it got us involved. And that's how we got involved in theater, my husband and I. And I just remember my youngest, Josh, who was on stage and had never done this before and would continue to turn his back to the audience. I was sitting in the audience with rubber bands. And every time he turned his back, I would shoot at him. Well, I've always been into art and playing and crafts and all this other wonderful stuff. I'm a wood turner. I do a lot of jewelry, and I volunteer for that kind of stuff too. But Bergen County Players is this wonderful community theater and so welcoming that I just wanted to join. And I love to paint. That's my thing that I love to do, and I like to organize. And so I wound up doing decor. And decor is dressing the set, like the furniture and the backgrounds and anything with painting and anything with creatures, anything that is not carried away by actors is decor. And I just loved it. And the wonderful thing about BCP is if there's something that you want to do, they are so willing to train you and teach you the ropes, and whatever you want to do is great with them. So I had free reign to do all these shows. I've done over 45 shows for them, big productions, and every one of their children's shows ever since Oliver. And I have been, my husband and I are now lifetime members because we've been there for 21 years. Yes, it'd be 22 in July. And we are just having such a good time. I get to do big things because I do little things. I do, little bowls and little things and jewelry. And this way I get to do a big set, and I get to play and introduce people to things, which they've never done before. And we just have a ball. So I love just volunteering there. BCP is a volunteer organization. We have about 250 members, but not everybody shows up. People like coming to my sets because they get very comfortable, because I keep telling them it's only paint. Don't worry, we can paint over it. Okay. We can do it again, not a problem. When we do a show, if it's the first show of the season, which is in September, we have pretty much all summer because BCP is off in the summer to plan it out and to work on it. So we have a few weeks to have people come down and work on it. So it's usually a big show. And the other shows just follow behind it. So each show goes up for a month, and then you have 2 weekends to get it together. So it's I only have 2 weekends of volunteers coming in to help. So that's why you got to plan it. So I like being a decor manager, so to speak.
So how many volunteers answer to you, like work with you, or does it change with every show?
It changes with every show, and if they're available, and because a lot of rehearsing is going on and people are in other shows and that it depends on also how big the show is and how complicated it is. Because if it's a really easy set, I can get everybody to come in and paint the base coats and stuff, and they'll come in and do the detail work. But there are a lot of people who do a lot of detail work, so I want to get them. And sometimes people, some of my friends will combine each other. And I remember in Drowsy Chaperone, it's a big set. There's an airplane on that stage, and a whole apartment. And we did not have enough time, each one of us, to do the whole thing. So we split it up 3 ways, and we said, I can do, a third of it. If you do a third of it, then I'll do it. And then we wound up doing 3 people as the decor management. So that worked out so great. And the thing about BCP is we have a really high bar when it comes to professionalism, and the sets look amazing. So we're really happy about that. And the acting is terrific, and the lighting and the stage direction, and the directors are great, and everybody is just really want to make the show. It's kind of like, I don't know if your audience knows about Little Rascals. And
I'm sure some of them have heard of Little Rascals.
There was a little TV show that a group of kids would get together and let's put on a show. Well, this is what we're doing. So
very cool.
Yeah. And I'm very happy to be able to help do this and be part of it.
What was the largest show or set that you had to create or do?
Well, the largest one, probably Man of La Mancha.
Okay.
I actually have pictures of that if you're interested now, or we can show it later.
You have pictures? Show me some pictures.
Okay.
Let's see what the Bergen County Players looks like.
Okay, this is Bergen County Players. Little Firehouse Theater used to be a firehouse, an actual firehouse. And this is a picture of our 75th season, but we're up to 90. We're coming up on our 90th season, 90 years of being in Oradell, New Jersey, putting on these plays. And it's just pretty amazing. Let's see if I can find, here we go.
Okay.
Talk about volunteers. These are volunteers.
Awesome.
Some of them are actors. Some of them do the lighting and the design and the sound and everything. I am in the middle there holding one of my pieces. These blocks are all individual blocks that I made from foam. And we cut them out, and let's see if I can get to air. That's what the set looks like. Okay. 298 of them. And
my goodness.
Staircase comes up, and I did the floor too. I'm probably crazy to do that because it took me like 7 hours, and nobody can see it until you actually walk on it. That is when it went up. It was a really wonderful show. Let's see. There we go. I had to cut them out, and I stripped off the backing, and we used acetone to texturize it. And these are the ladies who would sit out there because it's acetone, you got to be outside. So they're stressing that and painting it in 4 different colors because of the lighting, and I needed it to change with the lighting change. So everybody was, doing different colors on them. Now, of course, you can see we're not having any fun at all.
Oh, no fun at all.
No fun at all. Everybody had a wonderful time doing this. So yeah, that was Man of La Mancha.
Wow.
And that was summer. That was our first show. So
that
I
was
had
your summer. So you worked on all summer to get it
ready. Yeah, I did a lot of experimenting to see how that worked because they all had to go up. But what we did was it was kind of interesting. Somebody asked us how many stones there were, and we took a little laser to count them all, and it turned out there were 298. And what was really interesting is the address of the theater is 298 Kinderkamek.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah,
you couldn't have planned that.
No, it was meant to be.
Very good. Let's see. I had all these questions lined up, and you've covered most of them. So tell me, you're telling me before we start recording, there's an opportunity coming up for you with Bergen County Players in the town?
Yeah, the town approached Bergen County Players to see if we can put a mural up on an old gas station that we have in town that's owned by a gas station person. And they've got 3 really big doors that need to be covered, and they want to have murals. So I did some murals for them of the town and the different things of the town, including Bergen County Players.
Right.
And what we want to do is I do sets called paint by number sets to get people excited and interesting about what they want to do to help me out. And I do basically a coloring book where I'll draw in everything, and then I'll put little dabs of the color of the paint that I want, and have a cup of paint and a paintbrush and hand it to them and say, go find your color. And they will do that. And then they feel like they're all part of it because, I did that. And I did this castle, and I did, and margarita paint. And, they were so excited about that. I started doing that. These are some people doing some work on set, making up strawberries. Okay, here. This was one of the first sets that I did paint by numbers on. And I had 12 10 by 4-inch panels that I had to do different scenes on. So I did a paint by number set, and everybody did that. And then this was Wizard of Oz.
Right.
And people were very excited to do that. Okay, this was for Jack and the Beanstalk, and it was for the proscenium. And you can see that some of it is not painted in. So something like that. And I would just have people, these weren't all painted in, and this isn't completely painted in. But you see, I have a little castle down here, and
right.
Yep. So this is a paint by numbers piece.
Wow. Very empowering to the volunteer who looking for something different to do out of their norm. Gives them great confidence to do that. And then to see the piece when it comes out, what a collaborative work.
Yeah, I like to make it fun and interesting for people. Here's another one.
Is this for a castle?
That was for Pippin. Let me see if I can make this bigger too.
Stained glass windows?
Stained glass windows, yep. So they would paint in these things, and I would detail it.
Okay.
So the stone was all detailed, and some of the light coming through was detailed. And these are flats that you can turn around. So the other scene was actually a battle, which they used in the previous drawing. Let's see, this was that was for the women, and the only thing I did on this was I was asked to do a marble bathtub. So I got to do a marble bathtub with a feather.
Bathtub.
Yeah.
What play was that for?
That was called The Women.
Oh, The Women. Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then there's Seussical, which was fun. So we wanted it to look very cartoony, like Seuss.
Absolutely.
And this one was pretty ambitious too. This one was One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
I
And it
was going to
had,
ask you if that's what it was.
yeah. And we needed it to look like an asylum.
Right.
So you can see there's pictures off the wall, there's dirt, there's even dirt going to the bathroom. you can see you can see where this thing looked really run down. And there was a talk back session one night after the play, and one woman said this was freaking her out because she was in one of these and it looked exactly like it's supposed to. So it was like
No.
the
Oh my
greatest
goodness.
compliment. I was so happy. Let's see. This was Jack and the
Jack and the
Beanstalk.
Beanstalk.
Yeah, so we made a beanstalk, and that was all felt and wire, and it came up out of the what do they call that thing? The trap door, which is no longer on stage. They closed the trap door. I remember one of the.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to ask you, how long does a set like Jack and the Beanstalk take to create? I know you said you have more time in the summertime, but is it just done in 2 weeks, or like how many hours, I guess, do you put in?
Oh, lots. I do it. Well, good question. I do at least whatever I can do before I can get onto set, because it's not only me, it's the set builder who has to get on stage and do all this in the 2 weeks, 2 weekends. So, because the other play was going on, so it has to be, the set. That's one of the back wall. The back wall usually has to be done. That was for Cinderella.
Now, do you typically do a children's play a season?
Yes, until the pandemic.
Okay.
And then, since we couldn't do a children's show at all, we have been doing, let me stop sharing here. We have been doing Mother Goose people who are reading storybooks to children once a month, second Sunday in a month. Okay. And we've been doing it for the last like 3 or 4 months, and we're going to keep doing it because the actors come in and they get recorded and they're reading, and the book is there for the children to read all along with if they wanted to. It's really wonderful. There are all these different kinds of books. Last week, no, the one coming up is Dr. Seuss.
It's March. It's Dr. Seuss's month.
Mm-hmm, yeah, right. And the actors are doing amazing jobs there. It is just wonderful. So, and you can see all of it, even if you're not a member of Bergen County Players. If you go to bcplayers.org, all of them are there for you to play. So that's great for your kids, and even if you don't have kids, it's also great. But the pandemic changed everything, and we're just now coming back and actually doing plays. We're being very careful about it, right. And people have to wear masks, and we have to show that you've been vaccinated. But it's working out really well now, so we're kind of on the comeback. But before that, we were doing things through Zoom. We've done a few plays through Zoom. Oops.
Did that have a good response? Did you have a lot of people tune into that?
Yes. Yeah, okay. We do.
One more question about your volunteers, and then I'm going to ask you to just love on Bergen County Players.
Okay, I can explain more about volunteering too.
Well, then let's go into that. Tell me more about your volunteers.
Okay, so the volunteers are really the heart and soul of our little theater, and we really, really need you to do all sorts of stuff. Membership. The first year, if you decide to become a member, you're an associate member, and there's certain things that are required for ushering for like 2 to 3 performances. I love to usher. It's a lot of fun because you get to have people come in and they're all excited about being at the play, and you get them to their seats, and it's kind of fun. Um, you have to participate in like 3 different work sessions during the year, like a set strike. That's when the set comes down. I hate that because it's only a month and you work on a big play. And I keep telling the paint company, I go to Home Depot or someplace like that, and I say, I only need cheap paint. It's only going up for a month, and then it comes down again. So, yeah, strikes, general cleanup days, set building, or you can do, and you have to do one backstage job, uh, like main stage production, or decor, or set building, or let's see, lights, or sound, or any of that. So that's fun because we've got all that equipment. Um, and so the dues for us are $36 a year. So it's not really that,
no, it's not expensive.
Terrible. And you have privileges, because what happens is every show has a final dress rehearsal. And and that's free to anybody who comes down and works on the show.
Nice.
Or you can come down and as a member, and that's one of your perks, is you can see the show before it opens. And we get to root for everybody, so it's a really good, fun atmosphere. We also have parties, and in June we're having a 90th birthday celebration for BCP, which is nice. And there are all sorts of different VIP events. We have a dinner club where we go to different restaurants every month. There's bowling. Not bowling, bingo. They do bowling too, but there's bingo every month, and it's free, and you just come and play. It's all online.
Okay.
Bingo, so that's fun. So after a year, if you do everything that's required, you can also do makeup and hair and costumes, and it's just, we have this really big costume area with all sorts of amazing stuff. So once your associate membership is over, you get voted in to be a regular member. And the only thing you have to do basically is usher. And we're hoping that you'll come in and work on more stuff.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Do you have a good retention? Like, do you have a good amount, like people who come in as associates that stay on to be a regular member? Like, do you see a good?
Yeah, we do. Unfortunately, we get young adults who are going off to college, and then we lose them, which we need younger people or younger, members to come and fill up. We are getting older, and it's getting harder to be up and down those ladders.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to have, younger blood, but yeah, we hopefully retain, and any actors who get cast usually stick around, and everybody really, likes to be there.
Well, I'm wanting to join. I'm not nearby, but I'm like, they have a lot of fun.
Well, on March 23rd, we have every month, we have a new member orientation where you'll come and you can ask questions and see what it is you might be interested in, and see all the spots, the entire theater tour, and see what we have there. And you can decide whether you want to join or not.
I've learned so much today, Lauren. I mean, I've been to Bergen County Players for a play. I cannot tell you the name, but we went to support an actress. We had known her, and so we went to see the play and had a great time. So I totally love the space that you're in, and you talked about the high quality of the production. It was like Broadway quality, and I was just like, yeah, it was excellent. It's been a few years ago. Yeah.
And we do have people who go on to do Broadway, like Rob McClure, who is one of
Okay.
ours, since he was a kid. And he was in a few plays with my son Scott and Josh. He was in Oliver too. Uh, he got to
Very
put my
good.
son into a coffin.
Oh
Um,
my goodness.
and as I said, my older son is a actor, director, playwright. He's in Seattle now, and my younger doesn't want anything to do with it.
Okay.
So,
Okay. Um,
yeah.
as we're wrapping up, just in 2 minutes, just love on Bergen County players, just like over the top. Tell me, just love on them.
Okay. Well, Bergen County Players is almost like a family, and the people there are very welcoming and very nice and smart, and they do some great stuff. Very talented. Whether you want to be an actor or director or anything to do with the sets and the stage, it and the musicians are great. Mostly a volunteer thing. We do parades. We do the 4th of July parade. Um, it's a really fun place to be. I feel very included.
Okay.
My husband has done photography for almost as many shows as I have, and he's been doing the video and especially the Zoom stuff. And um, we're just this is our group. We feel good being here.
So it's more than just volunteering. It's a community.
It's a community, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. We do a lot of volunteering in other places, though, for say the wood turning community.
Right.
And we have this one wonderful friend who is blind. She's a blind wood turner, and she does this
Wow.
thing at the conference. There's a yearly conference for the American Association of Woodturners, and she usually has a session, one on disabilities, how to handle them, that kind of stuff. And my husband is very involved in that. And then she has this thing where they set up a bunch of lathes, and blind woodturners come in and they are helped out. Each lathe is monitored or helped out by another wood turner, an actual person who can see wood turning, and some of the top wood turners there are there to help and volunteer, and we like to volunteer for that kind of stuff, and anywhere where we can help.
Awesome.
But it's all creative and fun, and we help people, and
It's
that's nice.
fulfilling work.
Yeah,
It's fulfilling. It
definitely.
really is.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, Lauren, thank you for coming on the Art of Volunteering today. I've really enjoyed our time. And I'm going to have I've already spoken to you about this. I'm going to have your husband on because he does mentoring, right?
Yes.
For the wood turners.
Hmm.
We'll have an episode about him. So we'll
Oh,
get
good.
to,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
So
he taught a lot of people how to work Zoom and how to do. We do remote demonstrations. So through these various programs and stuff, we were able to do remote demonstrations all over the country and all over the world. And a lot of people were able to transition during COVID, where they were more suited than other people because they'd already been mentored by Alan and they know how to do it now. And they're making their
That's
living
awesome.
that way. So it was
That's
much
awesome.
easier for everybody.
Well, I'm going to
So
have
yeah,
him on and talk about that.
yeah,
So
it's a good thing.
thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you for joining in for the Art of Volunteering. We'll see you next time.